Do you guys remember there was that old clip of Ben Shapiro on his show where he very confidently and arrogantly argued I don't even think we should have retirement. Retirement, I think, is a horrible idea. I think everybody should work until they die. That's what I think. And I remember watching that going, oh my God, this might be peak out of touch for anybody. It's like a Guinness Book of World Record that he is not in touch with his own audience and the country in general, right? To actually argue with a straight face, retirement was a terrible idea. He actually said, did you notice that when people retire, that's when they get sick and that's when they die? So if you just work forever, you'll be fine. What? No, it's because you're old, right? You're old and that's when things start breaking. But no, he thinks if you just work forever, you'll be fine. So what's very clear is he views you as a cog in the machine, right? He views you as servile to your boss, and that's it. You represent the owner, you represent the CEO, you shut up and you maintain your usefulness in the marketplace, or go fuck yourself, right? Then you don't deserve to live, you don't deserve to afford a roof over your head. This is how this guy thinks. It's that free market fundamentalism, where you're just a slave to the whims of the capitalist owner, right? And so that blew up, particularly because obviously everybody on the left hated it and made fun of it, but there was a decent number of right-wingers that were I don't think I like this, right? That never went away. That mindset never went away. That's how they actually think. And so here we have Dr. Oz, who's in the Trump regime, and he is going to talk a little bit for us. First, let's start with this one. He talks about rural healthcare. Listen to this.
The Rural Health Transformation Fund is a 50% increased investment over what we currently spend for Medicaid in these rural healthcare systems. It's the largest investment of its kind ever made. And all of the states, 50 states, were given a chance to compete for this money. They all got some of it. And a large number of these applications included mental health support systems.
So let me just pause to point out, he's bragging about how much the Trump regime is doing for rural hospitals. What he's not telling you is they just gave some funding to some rural hospitals, but that was after they cut the funding, which could lead to the shutdown of 742 of them. So the big bullshit bill cut the Medicaid funds. 742 rural hospitals could go under. At the very least, 300 will go under. So they destroy it, and then they fund back a fraction of the money they cut. And then they hold this event and go, oh, we're doing the best thing ever for rural hospitals. But he's not done.
But I'm telling you right now, there's no question about it, whether you want it or not, the best way to help some of these communities is going to be AI-based avatars.
So we cut your Medicaid funding. We kick people off Medicaid. We only funded rural hospitals a fraction of what they were being funded before. But it's okay. Now we're going to have AI be your doctor.
The ability to do the intake, just catch the patient, customize to what their needs are, understand what they're up to. If you go, and please go play with these tools, they're unbelievable. They'll pick up subtle little nuances in how you're saying things. If you do it on purpose, it's actually sort of cool to find out. That will alert the avatar, but more importantly, the doctor they're going to report to, that there's something going on. So when the clinician connects with you, and there will always be a doctor, 50% of our cortex is designed to read the face of the person in front of you. I can look at you and tell you're bored, happy, excited, running away, whatever. But before you say a thing, and we're hardwired to read each other for that reason. We're social entities by definition. We got to where we are because we're social entities. So the key question is, how do we use AI thoughtfully in that setting? And if we do it right, we'll build a much more sustainable healthcare system around mental health issues. God bless you.
The same AI that lies to people all the time, in embarrassing ways, is going to somehow read the tone of your voice to know what's actually wrong with you. And that's where you're going to go for healthcare if you live in a rural area, okay? But I'm not done, because then he also said at the same event, he said this.
If we could get the average American, because they feel healthy, they're vital, they're strong, they have agency over their future, to start working a year earlier, right out of high school, or work a year later, not retire, or work better during their lifetime because they're healthy, it would generate about $3 trillion. $3 trillion to the U.S. economy. That would more than remove the debt. It would provide us unbelievable strength because the taxes on that $3 trillion would allow us to keep Medicare Part A solvent, to make a trust fund. It would allow us to make Social Security healthier, tremendous downstream benefits. But to do that, you actually have to invest in making sure people want to work the extra year.
our brilliant idea is to have you start working earlier and also work later, or start a year earlier, work a year longer at the end. That'll create $3 trillion. It'll be great. That's what we need you to do is like shut up and work more. And then he says like, oh, there's all these advantages of doing that. You know, you could have just not given trillions of dollars in tax cuts to the top 1%, which you motherfuckers just did again. He did it in his first term. Now he did it in his second term. All you had to do was not that. All you had to do was not give away all the money to the rich while raising taxes on the working class. All you had to do was not cut Medicaid as you did. All you had to do was not double, triple, and quadruple health insurance premiums as you did. All you had to do was not screw the working class. What they do is give all the money to the rich, and then they go, hey, guys, I got a great idea. How about you start working a year earlier, and then you also work a year later, and so you push off your retirement, and then that'll be great for the country overall, and it'll be great for you, too. Do you see the scam that's being run on you? Do you see the scam? Like, the whole Republican outlook, the whole Republican mindset is how can we give the billionaires anything and everything? More money, more power, more wealth, more control. And how can we make the bottom 99% be slave peasants to the whims of the billionaires? They are trying to roll the clock back to the days of like fucking child labor and no regulation in the workplace whatsoever, and no freedom and no autonomy and no sovereignty. They want to make everybody a fucking gig worker, okay? They want everybody fucking gambling and losing all their money. They want everybody working for fucking OnlyFans. They want everybody working a gig job where there are no labor protections. They want nobody unionized. They want you to work earlier and keep working later. Again, as every single law, every single bill that gets passed, it's basically a giveaway to the top 1%, and it screws over the bottom 99%. Are you awake yet? Seriously, are you guys awake yet? Has the Epstein scandal opened your eyes to the shadow government of moneyed interests, the cabal of pedophile, rapist, billionaire sadists that run the world, and that they're the ones who shape the agenda? They're the ones who get yet another tax cut bill through. The debt is exploding. The deficit is exploding. Taxes on the working class are going up. But somehow, the wealthy get more tax cuts and they get subsidies. Elon Musk has taken $38 billion in subsidies to create 12 rockets that fucking exploded. A guy who lies and does vaporware all the time, has committed fraud countless times. Somehow he keeps getting tax cuts and he keeps getting corporate welfare. He keeps getting subsidies. Whereas you get your Medicaid cut. You get your health insurance premium increased. You get your taxes raised. They get away with fucking everything. Do you understand yet? We will not be free until we investigate, arrest, and lock up the cabal of pedophile, rapist, billionaire sadists who run the world. We will not be free until we do that. And we will not be free until we break the stranglehold of corruption that the ultra-wealthy have on our system and the corporations have on our system, where they've rigged everything in their favor and against us. There is no being free until we do that. And here you have it, where they're saying the quiet part loud again, where he doesn't fucking want you to retire. Republicans don't want you to retire. MAGA does not want you to retire. And they're trying to implement that plan. They're trying to slowly, work your way into that. First, it's work a year earlier and work a year later too. And then they'll move the goalposts again and move the goalposts again and move the goalposts again until there is no such thing as retirement. And then they'll come for the fucking weekend. And there's no such thing as the weekend. And then they'll also, like they're doing right now, have ChatGPT take 30+% of the entry-level jobs. There is a war being waged on working people, and it's time everybody wakes up and acknowledges that.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.